Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. And if you don't know me already, my name is Idris and I am a landscape photographer based in Pakistan. And today I want to take you through one of the most powerful tools in editing, called masking. If you ever wanted to add that extra bit of precision to your edits, masking is very crucial for that. It's a technique that, when mastered, can really elevate your photography to the next level. To begin, let's talk about the basics of masking in Lightroom. But what does masking actually do? Masking allows you to apply adjustment to a selective part of the image. This is particularly useful when you don't want the whole image to be effective. For example, if you want to add a bit of drama in the sky, you can easily do that with masking. Or if you want to brighten the subject, you can do that too with the help of masking. So without any further ado, let's just jump into Lightroom and I will show you guys how to use masking. So let's start with this image right here. I've already done some basic adjustments to it, as you can see right here, but I haven't really touched on the masking part of it. First of all, you want to analyze the photo to see what the photo is actually missing. So for me, I think the foreground should be a bit darker. For that, I'm going to the masks and go to the linear gradient. For this, I'm going to drag it from the bottom to the top, just like this. Then I'm going to bring down the exposure, like this. I think this looks okay. So the first mask is done. Let's go to another one. Let's darken the sky a bit as well. So I will go to the masks and select sky. Lightroom does a pretty good job of it. So let's decrease the exposure to around here. And also add a bit of dehaze. Just like this. I don't want the transition of the sky and mountains to be that hard. So I'm going to use a linear gradient to soften this mask. Just like this. As you can see, we have added two masks so far. First for the foreground and then for the sky. This is the before and after of these two masks. The third mask we can add is to brighten up the subject a bit. For that, I'm going to create new mask and then select subject. And Lightroom does a fantastic job of it. So let's increase the shadows quite a bit so we can see our subject easily. I'm going to decrease the shadow. I'm going to increase the shadows and then decrease the highlights slightly. I'm also gonna decrease the contrast a bit. This looks okay. Before, after, yeah, this looks good. And for the fourth mask, I want to darken these part of the mountains, these dark part of the mountains. For that, I'm going to go to masks, create new mask, and then object. I'm gonna increase the brush size, and then I'm gonna paint over these black areas of the mountain, just like this. As you can see, Lightroom did a pretty good job of handling that. So I'm going to add another object and then go to the left side of the image, just like this. Yeah, this looks good. Then I'm going to decrease the exposure, like this. As you can see, there's a lot of harshness between the masks. So what we can do is we can subtract that by using a brush tool or a gradient tool. So let's use radial gradient for this one. And I'm going to use it right here to soften the masks. Just like that. This looks good. Then I'm going to create another subtract tool and use the brush tool this time. And just softly we will paint over the harsh areas. Then I'm going to decrease the brush size and brush over these small areas. Just like that. As you can see, this is the before and after of doing this. What you can also do is you can brighten the mountains from bottom to the top. Let's do that by subtracting a linear gradient from this mountain mask, like this. We want it to be very subtle, so somewhere around here. Yep, that looks good. Now what we can do is we can bring back some details back into the mountain. For that, I'm going to create a new mask and then objects. I'm going to increase the brush size, then brush over the mountain part very roughly. Lightroom did a pretty good job, but this area is missing a bit. So I will add to it by using the brush tool. I'm going to decrease the brush size, and I'm also going to decrease the feather. And then I will brush over these mountains. For the sake of the video, I'm doing it very roughly, but you can take your time to do it properly. Then I'm going to decrease the exposure just a bit and increase the contrast. Then I'm gonna decrease the highlights a bit and increase the whites. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, this looks okay. Let's decrease the highlights a bit as well. Then I'm going to soften this up by using another linear gradient from top to bottom, just like this. So you don't see the harshness between the mountain and the sky. I'm going to use another linear gradient to soften this from the bottom, like this. But one thing is missing. The glacier behind the subject is a bit dark. So to enhance that, we will go to the masks, create new mask, and then use objects to select that. Then use objects to select that. We will decrease the size and then paint over the glacier behind the subject, just like that. And when the glacier is selected, as you can see that Lightroom did not do that good of a job. So let's use the brush tool to fix this by painting over the areas we want in the mask. We will go to add and then brush. Let's brush over these areas. Then after this is fixed, I'm gonna subtract the subject from it. Go to subtract and then select subject. Lightroom does a pretty good job of doing that. Let's increase the exposure slightly, somewhere around here. And we can also remove this part from the mask. So this is the before and after of our edits. This is before masking and this is after masking. We've used 6 masks in total to get this look. So these are the few masking techniques that you can use to elevate your photography to the next level. So let's just go to another photo and do the same exact thing, but a bit differently. This is the photo right here. And I've done some basic adjustments, adjusted the exposure, shadows, and some things like that. This is the before and this is the after. Pretty basic edit. And now I'm going to use those masking techniques to apply it to this image. Let's go to the masks. Then I'm going to use the linear gradient from bottom to the top, just like this. Then I'm going to decrease the exposure a bit so our eye goes straight towards the subject, just like this. As you can see, the light is coming from the right side of the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a radial gradient just on this spot, like this. And then I'm going to increase the shadows and a bit of highlights. And then I'm gonna decrease the dehair slider somewhere around here to create that foggy, dreamy, misty kind of look. Around here. Yeah, this looks good. Then I'm gonna create another radial gradient and do the same exact thing on this part. This part right here. So let's do radial gradient around here. And then I'm gonna decrease the dehair sliders just ever so slightly. Like this. Then as you can see, this tree is a bit too dark. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the mask, create new mask and then object. Then I'm going to just brush over this whole tree. And let's see. Lightroom does a pretty good job of detecting it. So let's increase the shadows of this tree. And then we can use the linear gradient to make it softer from the bottom. So this is the before and after. I'm gonna bring out the subject a bit as well. So let's go to object and then select our subject, just like this. Then I'm gonna, you guessed it, just increase the shadows ever so slightly. Just few masking tools that can enhance your workflow tremendously. This is before and this is after. That's all for today's video. I hope you learned something. And if you want to learn more about editing, you can check out my masterclass and also my Lightroom presets, which are both linked below in the description. Thank you. Peace.